Good morning and welcome to another episode of Smashy Business Daily. I'm Lubna Hamdan.
And I'm Farah Bashir.
Farah, you are you're coming on the show today instead of Rich.
Yes.
And it's going to be interesting because we're going to be talking a little bit about Instagram and AI-generated photos. And I think it's a very woman-centric topic, right?
It is.
Besides that, we're going to talk about Egypt's richest man, Nassef Sawiris, has employed convicted ex-Abraaj executive Mustafa Abdel Wadood in the family Dubai office. And next, Jessica Kahawaty has cancelled a contract with Starbucks and her food delivery concept MamaRita over the genocide in Gaza. And then, of course, the third one, which we just talked about, is Meta is going to be flagging AI-generated photos as if it's going to make a difference. Everybody uses filters anyway.
That's true. Maybe they should flag that too, I think.
Absolutely. I think filters should be banned. Just banned, right?
Yes, they should be, for sure.
Except the one that smooths your skin a little bit. I mean, we could use a little bit of a tweaking here and there.
Here and there, yeah.
Our producer Hisham just said a lot of people would lose their jobs after if filters were banned.
I mean, I don't agree.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
The influencers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. For influencers, for sure.
I would like to see a lot of influencers.
They would help the mental health of a lot. So we'll be talking about that, of course, when we get to the story. But first, let's... No, actually, let's talk about it now. Before we get to the exclusive, let's make people wait a little to hear the exclusive. All right. So, you guys, if you want to wait a little, as of course the star of the show, Lubna, wants to.
So the star of the show. Oh my gosh, thank you. No, the stars are the listeners. But so look, Farah, I have a question for you. Be honest about this, okay? Do you Photoshop your pictures?
I used to use filters.
But not Photoshop.
Not Photoshop.
Okay.
I could never because. Honestly, Lubna, I've tried it, but I just didn't like myself with Photoshop. However, I feel like people or girls in general who have not reached the level of self-love that they should reach, often use Photoshop. You know what I mean? Like it takes a long way. I used to use filters because I had really bad acne on my face. And then I thought fine, I'm a person behind screen and I am a different person when I'm out in public, right?
Yeah.
And not only that as well, I feel like I just don't like the comment of oh, hi, you look different.
Right. Yeah. I hate when people say that.
Exactly.
It's what do you mean? What is the proper response to that, you know?
It's you don't know if it's a compliment, you don't know if they're offending you. And I feel like at this point, because influencers have created, I would say, a wrong and a very misleading, I would say, standards of beauty.
Just unrealistic and unattainable, which,
100%.
You know what, to be fair to influencers, this started a very long time ago with magazine covers, celebrities being photoshopped onto magazine covers. So we can't entirely blame influencers. I would blame social media as well. But it does become sort of a mental illness. And Mark Zuckerberg, apologized to families at the Senate for harmful content that, harms children.
That's true.
And now Meta is going to flag AI-generated pictures on Instagram and Facebook. I actually chose a picture of Mark that, sorry, Ali is going to kill me. Ali is one of our producers as well. He's just going to kill me because this is the third story. And when you put in the assets, that's supposed to come up as the third story. Sorry, Ali, we're going first with this. I chose a picture of Mark Zuckerberg, and he looks very robotic in it. Now, I'm actually not sure if this is AI generated or not. Sorry, guys. Done is better than perfect. I had to send in the assets, didn't have time to double check. At least I'm being transparent about it. But yeah, he does kind of have that robotic look to him. Anyway, I'm wondering, is this actually going to make a difference, flagging AI generated photos?
It will. Because honestly, if you see pictures, I've been noticing that everyone who uses, let's say, Photoshop have the same, I would say, features. It's very similar. It's very obvious at this point, right?
Yeah.
And I think, in my head, all I think is, God, they must be going through a lot, you know, like, do you that much not accept yourself, not love yourself? Because like I feel like everyone is unique in their own way, but as you mentioned earlier, social media has created this, like, I would say, unrealistic expectation of like what beauty standards should be and how they are. You know, like right now everyone's just like, oh my god, you know, I want to do like I want to like lift my eyebrows, I don't know, have like plump lips, and I want to have like a snatched nose, when everyone's beautiful in their own way.
Absolutely.
And no one has accepted it just because of like social media.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what though, I do see what you mean, and unfortunately we've been seeing it in real life too, where, you know, the girls just look the same. And there's a joke that, you know, they all go to the same doctor, right? We don't want to hate on these women because it is hard, and you know, unfortunately, we do have to check ourselves as well. Like, do we fall into that category? Are we, you know, following that trend? And what are we telling our future daughters, our younger sisters, younger girls who look up to us when we do this to ourselves and alter 100%. Ourselves that way?
And it's not only, by the way, the face. Like, you know, like what's causing all of this is the fact that there are a lot of trends on social media. Like right now, there's this trend of like, legging legs trend, which means like having like a thigh gap. Between your legs, you know what I mean? Which used to be like, since when like being skinny and unhealthy, I would say, a trend?
I mean, it was back, you know, back in Kate Moss's times and all of that, the model, the skinny, literally bulimic look actually is what they used to call it.
So as well, like you would see like girls, I would say, photoshopping like their waist. Their body and even their height, and they have reached that level of insecurity that I would say is very unhealthy. And if it's like that now, I just wonder like how is it going to be in the future. So getting it, like,
you know what, it does help. Unfortunately, I don't think, you know, the AI generated pictures I think will help in terms of fake news and misleading. You know, when that image of the Pope wearing that coat came out, you know, the pictures of Trump getting arrested, you know, people were sharing those fake images. So I think it will help in that regard. But when it comes to, you know, alterations, filters, etc., I don't think it will make much of a difference, because, you know, we do have an AI generated like influencer, right? I forgot what her name is, but anyway, I think when you have figures like Huda Qattan, for example, Huda Beauty coming out, you know, and saying, you know, this is the cover of me pre-Photoshop, this is the cover of me post-Photoshop. I don't like to be, you know, I don't like to Photoshop anymore, blah, blah, blah. The more figures that come out and
normalize normal.
Normalize normal. Since when is normal?
Because like, you know, like again, like, see, this is what has been happening all over social media, and I see it all over my page or my feed, sorry. And it's like, oh, you know, like, oh, legging legs, you know, like, or like glass skin.
You know what, we're gonna go backwards from the stories. Ali, I'm so sorry. Can we put up the Jessica Kahawaty one? Because I want to get into this because she did something really good, but I want to talk about Jessica Kahawaty as well, right? Because Jessica is the founder of food delivery concept MamaRita. She's a lawyer, although I don't think she's a practicing lawyer. She opted for modeling instead, which is fine.
It is fine. She's a humanitarian at the moment.
She's a humanitarian. She's done a lot of fundraising for Gaza, for Lebanon when the explosions happened, but she wears colored contact lenses. And which is fine. It's no judgment, but I do want to talk about, you know, altering your image, right?
That's true.
I mean, she's already so beautiful. So I don't know why the contact lenses. Why the contact lenses?
I mean,
I'm coming across judgmental.
Yes,
I know.
You're not. But because you know what? I used to be in her case. I had like this huge dilemma because my mom was blonde and she had like green eyes.
Oh.
And I would be like, Mom, why didn't you give me your eyes? Why didn't you give me your hair? And it's all because as well standards that society has put on girls. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we often say like, oh, a girl is only beautiful if she is XYZ.
Yeah.
And as girls, we conform to that.
Sure.
And sadly, I can relate to her because at some point in my life, I would beg my mom to let me wear contact lenses.
Yeah.
But then she was like, "No, Farah, you're beautiful the way that you are, and you should accept."
You are.
Thank you.
I think we're gonna move on just because I think Richard is gonna kill us because we're not sticking to business topics. I mean, sorry, Rich. Right. So, okay. More importantly, who cares? You know what contact lenses she wears. She has done something remarkable. She's canceled a contract between MamaRita, her business, and Starbucks, the world's largest coffee maker, over its actions and its statements that it put out during the Gaza genocide, which is still ongoing. So basically. Sources have told us this. We don't have official sources, but sources very, very close to the matter have confirmed that she did, in fact, cancel a contract. Now, in 2021, MamaRita sold its fruit jars at Starbucks stores, drive-thrus, and even on their Deliveroo shops across the UAE. Let's explain a little bit about Starbucks and what they did. So in October, when the events started, Starbucks sued the union organizing its workers, the Workers United, over a pro-Palestine post on Twitter, which it claimed angered customers and damaged its reputation. Now, last week, the company's CEO admitted boycotts of the coffee chain in the US and the Middle East have hurt sales. But he called the impact temporary. If you've got people in the Middle East, really good businesses like MamaRita, they're doing really well. Here's another exclusive for you. They're looking to open their first brick and mortar store soon. If you've got companies, until now canceling contracts with you, is that really temporary?
I think that what happened is the moment the Gaza war has begun, I would say, like, all over, people did not expect it to actually have this effect, or boycotting to have this effect.
It's not a war, though.
Yes, it is a genocide, of course, you know what I mean? But, like, for example, that's exactly what people expected. That, you know what, fine, people are going to get over it. They're going to move on.
People do have short memories.
They do. But with Gaza, because it has been an ongoing issue since 1948, of course, people are furious about it.
Yeah.
And with this generation, they are not an easy generation.
Yeah.
They are very, like, keen, you know what I mean?
You can say whatever you want about them, but when it comes to causes, they're actually not silly. Someone from Starbucks also, Rich mentioned this the other day. He said they're still going to drink their frappuccinos, and they got offended. Kudos to Gen Z for that.
Exactly. That's the point. Like Gen Z is out there Gen Z just calls you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
whether you're a person or whether you're an organization, and even if it's as simple as a friend. So they will call out a genocide, and they're out there and they will boycott. I mean, have you seen McDonald's? They've boycotted McDonald's. They've boycotted Starbucks. They've boycotted all of the brands that
and vandalized stores as well.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're out there, like, on Twitter and Instagram, and they're sharing their information.
Yeah,
and
they care. They
even cancel their friends who don't post.
Yes, that's true. And so have I.
Okay.
So have I. Do you think, before we move on to the next story, do you think the boycotts will end as soon as the events subside?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because I've seen it from me and from my other Gen Z friends that they are so keen and persistent. They want a ceasefire. So they're like, you know what, unless that happens, they're still boycotting everything.
You know what? That's a great point, Farah, but it's a great point to move on to our next story, because people do seem to have short memories, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, in the case of Mustafa Abdel Wadood. The convicted ex-Abraaj executive has been hired by Egypt's richest man, Nassef Sawiris. So Nassef Sawiris has a net worth of about $7.6 billion. Whew.
That's a big number.
Lot of money. Anyway, he has employed Abdel Wadood, who's the ex-managing partner of Abraaj. He's going to lead the family office in Dubai, the family office of Nassef Sawiris migrated its corporate operations, or it said it was planning to, so it's going to do that across this year. Corporate operations to Abu Dhabi, to ADGM, the Abu Dhabi Global Market. This year, basically. They announced that in December last year. And apparently, Nassef thinks Abdel Wadood, who pled guilty to wire fraud, securities fraud, and conspiracy with regards to his role at the now defunct Abraaj Group, is the right man for the job. Abdel Wadood in 2019, just to give you guys a little bit of background again, struck a deal with US authorities for a lighter sentence on condition he would testify against his ex-boss and Abraaj founder Arif Naqvi, who remains under house arrest in the UK as he awaits extradition to the US, where he would stand trial for 16 counts of fraud and money laundering. Now, Arif is suicidal. He's only, well, I don't know if he's suicidal now, but when he was appealing against being extradited to the US, the judge did not extradite him at the time, postponed it because she said he was suicidal. He's only allowed 2 hours outside of the house. I don't even know if that's daily anymore, and he's awaiting extradition. Meanwhile, just to compare, Abdel Wadood has been seen out and about in the IFC. It's a glamorous place, nice dinners, fine dining. He's been sporting a Royal Oak AP. It's looking bright for Abdel Wadood. His new boss, Nassef, has invested in everything from sports, German sports goods maker Adidas to English soccer club Aston Villa. Here's another fact for you. Nassef is the youngest of the 3 brothers, the Sawiris brothers. They're one of the richest families in Egypt. And his brother is Naguib Sawiris, who was not only Abdel Wadood's ex-boss in his earlier days in Egypt. He also invited him to his son Onsi's wedding. Onsi, or I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. He was also seen, in the summer of 2022, flying across Europe, etc. And the wedding was attended by the likes of ex-UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, who I'm not a fan of. Tony Blair, gosh. And Naguib was also the sole guarantor of Abdel Wadood's $10 million bail bond. So it's looking bright for Abdel Wadood. He's back in Dubai.
He is. Honestly, this just confirms the theory that my dad keeps on telling me, is that Farah, if anything happens, don't just live for the, I would say, for being nice. Be real. And this just shows, for example, in this case,
and screw over your ex-boss.
It's not necessarily screw your ex-boss. Ex-boss. Sorry, yeah. But at this point, if let's say there's this saying, nice people finish last.
Yeah. Hey, look, don't get me wrong. It's survival of the fittest in the business world. We're just talking facts here. We're not judging Abdel Wadood. Business is business at the end of the day.
Yes.
So it is what it is. It's just interesting to compare the situations.
That's true, because you even see, as we mentioned earlier, in business, you see even families fighting and families knitting for each other here and there, right? So there are no expectations to be expected from someone that works under you, or even your boss. You guys are not friends.
Loyalty is dead, isn't it, Farah?
Maybe.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's not. No, but interestingly enough, you know what? There are so many people who have had comebacks. We have Kabir Mulchandani. Of course, the power behind the 5 hotels, the brains behind the 5 hotels. He made a comeback. He went to prison a couple of years ago. You've got the Wolf of Wall Street guy as well. He made a comeback. And after all of that, he is still getting paid to make speeches on stage, and people pay to see him talk. So it's going to be interesting to see what Abdel Wadood does next.
It is. I mean, people usually are more interested in villains rather than people who are just like moving in a straight line, for sure. So yeah, we must be very excited to see, like, you know, like, since after all of these things that has happened with Abdel Wadood and all of and his ex-boss, Nassef, it would be exciting to see, like, what
not Nassef is his current boss, but Arif is his ex-boss. It's okay. Lots of names, Farah.
Yes, lots of names.
We got you last minute on the show. Rich had to go to a press conference, so thanks for doing this.
So of course, you know, like, at this point, it's just like exciting to see. You know what I mean? Like, what is he going to be bringing to the table?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Farah, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be back tomorrow. Stay tuned. And we're going to have a guest tomorrow as well. I'm going to keep it a surprise. But yeah, listen to us, whether you're driving home from work, whether you're going to the gym. I love listening to podcasts. I don't listen to music as much nowadays. I feel like my brain is always working, and I just need something more than just music. So Apple Podcasts, Anghami, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to Smashy TV to watch us on video. The streaming service. It's our streaming service. It's only 18 dirhams a month. So do it for these faces.
Yes.
And Richard's face as well. Okay, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.